What I'm going to be talking about today is how I made my first £250,000 in my coaching business, working with amazing clients from all over the world. So today I'm going to share my own journey into coaching and how I created a successful business. I'm also going to share with you the power of coaching to change lives and businesses, particularly one-on-one coaching to create fast results, because that has been critical in my own growth. So this year I was in a group coaching program, and I also had a one-on-one coach all year. And I believe the power of one-on-one coaching is immense to create fast results. So all of the information that you need to start a coaching business is available out there. You can probably Google and get most of it if you have enough time. And there's nothing wrong with going at your own pace. And there's nothing wrong with just growing organically. But if you want to create fast results and you want to get to where you want to be quicker, this is what I believe one-on-one coaching is so powerful at. And we're going to look at how you can tell if it's time for you to become a coach. So stay on until the end for the 5 things I did wrong that you can avoid. And believe me, I've made a lot of mistakes. 5 things that contributed to my success. So 5 things that I did right. And the number 1 thing that fast-tracked my success, in my opinion. So who am I? So for those of you that are new to me, I know I've got some familiar faces and I've got some new faces on today, so welcome everyone. But I'm an international success coach and lifestyle expert for creative entrepreneurs. I mentor and support talented, highly driven and creative women entrepreneurs who've already grown a successful business and who are ready to birth an exciting new vision. So my coaching background, I've had 3 years of high-level coaching training. So continuously for the last 3 years, I've been in consistent training and I've been honing my skills. I've been committed to getting better at what I do. I've invested over $80,000 to date in my coaching business, in training. I have a degree in psychology, something a lot of people don't know. Way back when I actually started out studying psychology. So I've always been fascinated by the power of the mind. I'm a Divine Living Certified Advanced Coach. So last year I coached over 350 hours to get my advanced certification. And I actually started, interestingly, when I was reflecting, that I actually started as a mentor, really coaching as a mentor for a charity. So when I lived in London full time, I actually partnered with a charity where once a week I would spend half a day with a child, and you're matched for a minimum of 2 years. And you're there to mentor that child, spend time with them, and provide basically an adult friendship and modeling. So I've been around for a while. In my 20s, I had a background in planning online media campaigns for major brands. In my 30s, I ran my own successful international photography business for the last 12 years. And in my photography business, I was commissioned to shoot editorial for Martha Stewart Weddings magazine. There's actually a new, just out yesterday, I think. I have 12 pages in the latest issue, so that's super exciting. So I do still do creative projects. I do still get to do the photography, although coaching is my main focus. And then in my 40s, I added coaching to create a multifaceted creative business. And so for those of you that are on today and you've got all varied on all different backgrounds, know that it's possible to create a business model that incorporates all the things you love. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't mean you have to sacrifice other things you love, but it's possible to weave coaching in to give yourself a business that you really love, one that reflects all of your passions. So many of the women I work with, you're really multi-passionate, and I want you to know that you can embrace all of these things in creating your business. So a little bit more about my photography career. That's my cover of Martha Stewart that I had last year. Those of you that's been on my manifesting seminars before will know that this was my big dream in my old business. I worked for 9 years on manifesting this. It was in my vision board, it was in my goal books every year, and I was really determined to make this happen, and I never lost sight. And I think that's one of the really powerful skills, is not to when your goals don't seem to be happening, when things don't seem to be happening quick enough, don't give up. Like, hold the vision and keep going. So I achieved my dream to shoot for the magazine, not once, but twice. During the course of my photography business, I did many of the things that I coach my clients on now. So I raised my rates. I got out of overwhelm, learned to manage my time. I created a 6-figure business. I was able to travel the world, and I was able to work with amazing clients and make really good money as well. So I moved into coaching, and that was an accidental journey. I didn't even plan to be a coach. I actually did the program to learn what skills and what mindset pieces, and to work on my wealth consciousness, to learn all these things that I could apply to my photography business. So I had zero interest in being a coach. To be honest, I was liking my photography and I was very happy there. But what happened was I implemented all of the tools that I learnt in my program into my photography business, and I saw the shifts. Things started going really well. That's when I called in my Martha Stewart opportunity. That's when there was a real quick thing in my business. And I was on a certification program for coaching. So at the end of the year, I had to submit 100 hours. And so I wasn't planning to do it. I think it got to 6 weeks before the deadline. And then I was pushed, and I decided just to go for it and see if I could make it happen. And I did. I brought on 11 clients. So I think there might even be some of you on here today who are part of my first 11. I brought on my first 11 clients, and my very first month was a 5-figure month. Now this year, I did the 2 part-time last year. And then this year, I decided exactly a year ago, I decided to give myself the opportunity to go full-time as a coach. And I took a 6-month sabbatical from photography. And this year I made over £200,000 so far in my first full-time year as a coach. So super excited about that. And it's not just me here. So I'm going to talk about some of my client successes, including some of the people who are coaches that are working with me. So behind the scenes, did it all happen by magic? I think the temptation is that when you look at someone else's success story, that you think, oh my gosh, like they're just somehow special, they're super different, they must have wings, or like be drinking Red Bull all the time. And so let's take a look. Did it all happen by magic? Well, this is just the last 2 years of journaling. So this is a lot of mindset work. Just imagine all the awarenesses, insights, and breakthroughs in these books. So one of the things which helped my fast growth was my massive commitment to my own personal development. And a lot of the things that hold us back are actually the parts in our mind. So there are definitely structures and action pieces to learn. But a lot of it is things we feel like we can't do, or we're scared to do, or we're procrastinating. And one of the most powerful ways, I believe, to become aware of what's really going on in your mind is through journaling. So I have these gold journals, and this is where it all happens for me. This is where my dreams, my goals, all my awarenesses come, and then I'm able to move forwards. So life experience. Now this is really important, I think, because life experience counts for a lot when you're a mentor or guide in the life of others. So it's not always about having created a hugely successful business, but it's also having life experience. And I've got 23 years of personal development, which, as you saw, is a lot of meditation and journaling. I went to my first meditation retreat when I was 19 years old, a silent retreat, which was one of the most profound experiences I've ever had. And it really blew me away, the power of the mind to alter how you perceive reality. I'm a trained healer as well, and that's something which I'm actually doing more of right now. And I've overcome many challenges in my life, and I'm going to share some of those with you today, because I think it's really important for you to understand that success is possible, even when things aren't perfect, even when you don't have enough time, even when you have other challenges or demands on your time. So how I discovered coaching? Well, as I shared with you, first of all, I created a business around my passions. It was a big learning curve being an entrepreneur. So for any of you that are in a creative profession right now, you're either on this learning curve. I don't think we ever come off it, but it's particularly steep at the beginning. I didn't plan to run my own business. I didn't call myself an entrepreneur for at least the first decade, but that's basically what we are if we're running our own business. I was all about the love for the photography, and I was just blown away at the beginning to be paid well for doing something I loved. So I'd been doing photography for around 8 years when some life challenges came along, and inevitably they impacted on my business. Stopped flowing and I started struggling in my business. So it's at this point, and this was 4 years ago, I took on my first private coach. And with the coach, I was able to sort out my life. I was able to raise my rates, rebrand my wedding photography business. And that really kickstarted my growth. And that's what really got me aware of the power of coaching. So I didn't realize how powerful it would be until November 2015. So this was when I went full time. This is when November 2015 is when I first started coaching full time, if you like. And this is when I coached those 11 people. And what really blew me away was the power of the work and the results that people got. And that's when I decided I had to be a coach. Before then, I thought it was just another revenue stream. But when I saw what was happening to people's lives and when I got feedback, I knew that I couldn't not do this. So for a year later, so that was November 2014 when I first started. November 2015, I had this epic week. So I was so scared. I actually refunded one of my wedding photography clients. I knew I had to just focus on this for 6 months and I had to give it a go. And I had an epic week. That week I signed contracts for £27,000, and it was like the universe was saying, yes, this is your path. This is where you need to be. Fast forward another year, and November this year, last month, I'm going to flip between £1,000 here, but I hit £34,000 or $43,000 in signed contracts. And this was a mix of private coaching clients and passive income. So for any of you that are wondering if there's money in coaching or if it's possible for you, allow that to inspire you. So let's come over to you. Where are you at right now? Do you feel like you've stopped growing? Are you losing the passion for what you do? Maybe you're even bored or feeling unfulfilled. Maybe you're not making the money you truly desire in your heart. Are you working too long hours? Are you fed up of working weekends and evenings or feeling like a slave to your business? But maybe you're confused about where to go next. Are you lacking a clear plan and goals for your life and business? Of helping others succeed. So if you've had any experience of helping other people in your business, I'm sure you have realized how rewarding it is to actually see others thrive under your guidance. Maybe you've been curious about coaching, you've heard about it, you've seen people do it, you're just really intrigued to know more. So ask yourself, is it time to pass on your knowledge to those new to your industry? Is it time to be able to do what you love and it is really important, and have time for all the things that are important to you? Is it time to become a leader in your field? Is it time to stop plateauing and start growing again? So if you're finding yourself saying yes to any of these, then I'm going to invite you into exploring coaching for you. Because I've had lots of people come to work with me, and I started out working with a variety of creative entrepreneurs. So I've worked with all kinds of graphic designers, fashion designers, photographers, videographers, so many different kinds of people. I've had a really varied client base. And then this year, coaches started coming to me, people who were seeing what I created and also wanted to create the same. So now a lot of the new clients I take on are actually people that want to start coaching businesses. And these are some of the things that I see that they have in common, that they're really ready to become a leader, to step up and share their knowledge, their experience with those new to their industry. And they're really ready. And maybe they've plateaued, and it's time to push, like I said, through that fear, excitement barrier and start growing again. So I always like to have dogs in my webinars. As you know, I'm a huge dog lover. Those of you that are new to me, this was my bulldog Lolo, who's sadly no longer with me, but he's very much in my heart. And this is Lolo looking at, actually it was my vision board. This is quite a few years ago. So I always loved making these vision boards. And so maybe it's time for your new vision now. So what about the impacts of coaching? As I shared with you earlier, this is really what made me decide to become a coach, because it wasn't for the money. Let's face it, if it was just for the money, then I would have gone into the city or working in hedge funds or trading. So if it's just money you're after, there's definitely easier, more lucrative ways to make it. So coaching wouldn't be for you if it's just about the money. However, if you would like money and to have a big impact in the lives of others, then I'm going to invite you to hear the results. So I'm just sharing some of the results of people that have worked with me to give you an idea of the impact it's possible to have. So Natalie here, who is actually now a coach herself, I believe, and she says, I can honestly say it was one of the most life-changing experiences of my life. Katie Julia says, your coaching has impacted me on so many levels, I can't tell you how many. It's one of the best things I've done with my life. Everyone in my life has commented on how positive and how much happier I am. I've gained huge confidence, self-belief, and I honestly feel like a new woman with the optimism I've found. That was the biggest gift the coaching gave me, the ability to reconnect with myself, my dreams, and my joyfulness. So this is about so much more than making money. It's about making money and getting empowered and growing in confidence, growing in self-esteem. It's also about hitting goals. Coaching gives you accountability. Private coaching is all about accountability. As Louise found out, she said, in the time working with Polly, I took on 6 new clients paying full price. I hit my targets for the wedding venue I look after for this year, and I've got clear goals for where I'm going. And so much more. So coaching is really about helping your clients boost their confidence, get clarity on where they're headed in their big vision, and getting clarity on their purpose in life and business. It's helping them believe in themselves. It's helping them get out of overwhelm, and it's helping them take powerful action. And when somebody really believes in themselves and they're able to take powerful action, this is when everything they dream of unfolds. And not forgetting making money. So making money is not wrong. Money is energy, and having more energy to do things in the world, more energy to have experiences, is all good. So here's some of the numbers that I have seen generated through the coaching work I've done with clients. So Lisa brought in over £40,000 in the first 6 weeks we worked together. Darcy, this is just last month, she had a $21,000 month in her second month as a new coach. When she came to me, she had coached 1 client, and we set up all of the structures in 2 months, and it culminated in her making $21,000 in her second month as a new coach. Emma, and this is so important, said, I'm earning more money doing less work, and my old clients are paying my new higher rates. Because this isn't always about more money, more work. It's about more money and a better quality of life. If you've been in my community a while, you'll know that I'm all about living beautifully, all about having a life that has time for everyone and everything that you love. And then Ria raised her rates by 40% and booked 12 clients at her new rates. So is coaching right for you? Ask yourself these questions. Do you want to make more of an impact on the world? Do you enjoy supporting, teaching, and helping others? Are you committed to your own self-development? And this is really, really important, because this is one of the points I'm going to share with you, what I believe I was able to have success so fast. It was my relentless commitment to my own self-development. To create a job with flexible hours that you can scale to fit into your lifestyle, or even grow into your own empire. So the choice is yours. And I think this is so awesome about coaching, that you know, maybe you're a mom, maybe you just want to work part-time at this stage in your children's lives, and that's possible. I've coached and still coach lots of clients who are mums, who have been able to create coaching as a job with flexible hours. So they've been able to define how much time they want to spend each week and then create a business that fits within that. If you're super ambitious and you've got that, you dream of being a millionaire and of having products ranges and books and programs and courses and TV appearances and speaking on stage, and that's possible for you too as well. It's really something that you can create your own unique business model. And then if travel lights you up, you would have the flexibility to work from anywhere. So for those of you that have been with me for a while, you know that I have coached from all over the world, literally. Sydney, Miami, LA, London, Ibiza, Greece. I think that's kind of just this year. I love being at home in Ibiza, so that's really my thing. And that's what lights me up, is that I can live in a place where the sun shines in a beautiful landscape, and I can run a business I love, working with people all over the world. So we talked about whether you're ready, and whether there's people that will benefit from your knowledge and experience, and whether you enjoy helping others, and whether you're passionate about self-development, about growing, about learning. If these things are resonating with you and you're saying, yes, that's me, then stay with me. So the coaching industry, let's dive into what the possibility is here. Because I certainly knew zero about coaching when I came in, absolutely nothing. So the coaching industry, life and business coaching, is worth nearly $2 billion a year. It's a huge industry. That's like crazy numbers. It's the fastest growing sector after IT, and something that I had no idea. So you know how fast IT is growing. Well, coaching is just second to that of all the industries in the world. And studies have shown that it can be an almost 50-to-1 return on investment. So when someone invests £1,000 in coaching, it can yield up to £50,000 of results for them. And I'm definitely seeing that with my own clients. One thing that's really important, so sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, but it's so much money, or oh, I can't spend that much, or I could never spend that much, I can't afford it. Well, the idea is to get a return on investment. Now, sometimes it comes immediately and sometimes it takes longer. It doesn't always happen immediately. If you're setting up a brand new business from scratch, you've never been an entrepreneur, it's going to be a longer journey. Business, if you've already got a following, then it's going to be a quicker journey. And it also depends what comes up along the way for you. But this is all about return on investment. And I have seen that so powerfully. So I shared with Darcy earlier, she made back her money from investing in my 6-month private coaching program. She made that back in month 2. That is the goal. The goal is for you to make an investment and get a return. And most importantly, you get to define what success means to you. So this is not about you following a model of success. You get to define exactly what it is to you. And this is unique to every client. I love doing this work with clients, inviting them to explore what success actually is to them. So I'm seeing a lot of people pop up now saying they're coaches with no coaching training. So let's look at what the difference is between coaching and teaching. So this is really important because they're both super valuable. And this will help you work out whether you want to go down the teaching route or the coaching. So in teaching, the trainer has the answers. So teaching is all about just giving knowledge. So you are actually teaching your clients the answers to business pieces or pieces around their craft. The trainer passes on the knowledge and the answers are the same for everyone. Okay. Coaching is different. So the client has the answers in coaching. This is what we really believe. It's our job as coaches to encourage the client to develop self-reliance, to confidence, to find their truth, their own dreams, skills, and power. And the role of the coach is to facilitate the process of the client finding their answers. So the client is responsible for their results and their journey is unique. Coaching, because even if I'm working with 2 people in the same field, starting the same business in the same market, the journey is so different. And the way they create their brand, their marketing, the kind of clients they work with, the message they have, it's all unique. What I do in my private coaching practice is actually blend coaching with consulting, because when you're setting up a coaching business, there's a number of structures and pieces that you need to learn. And so there is an element of teaching there. And then at other times, it's really about inviting and encouraging the client to find their own answers. And that's when the coaching process. And I use my own discernment and intuition to know when to flip between the two. So my life as a coach, massive journey of personal growth and development. I think you're getting the theme now. But I've been able to create my own vision of success, a sunshine-filled life on the island of Ibiza, a beautiful, I actually have a home in London as well, so I split my time between the two. But wherever I can, I spend as much time in Ibiza. I've been able to create a beautiful home and lifestyle and do meaningful and creative work around a schedule that really suits me. I've got the ability to control my own income and work with clients all over the world. So here I am. I'm actually sat inside that room there. But in July 2016, I manifested the money for my new dream home through my new coaching business. And so this is the story in itself, but I literally burnt all my bridges. I didn't know if I was going to get this home. I kind of had to pitch for it before it was even built. I am renting, not buying as well. It's pretty intense market out here for property. But a lot of this came from giving myself permission to go after my desires and believing it was possible for me. And then I was able to manifest and create the money for this. So I want you to imagine what it would feel like for you to move into your dream home. So, changing lives. This is what coaching is all about. And this is what I love so much. This is what lights me up, because I'm able to live a life I love. So it's not either or. And I used to believe, this is one of my old beliefs, that you could have the dream home, you could have the incredible lifestyle, the amazing travel, but you would have to sacrifice for that. So you maybe had to go and work in a job you didn't like in the city, or you could do something creative and really enjoy it, but you wouldn't be making money. So that's kind of my belief system, and I now know that that's not possible. So as Bernadette here said, again, I know what I need to do to get the results I desire, and I reconnected with my intuition and inner wisdom. And it's all about the growth here. It's all about empowering people to grow. And she says, again, working with Polly changed my life. I'm ever so grateful for the experience and what I got out of it. So this is the impact that it's possible to have on people's lives. Personal breakthroughs. This is Maria, who said about her coaching that it was like a life training on all levels. I now believe that everything is possible. I know that I'm the creator of my own life. I feel more powerful, stronger, more confident, and more dynamic. So just imagine people saying that to you about working with you, or imagine feeling like that yourself. So how did I do it? How did I do it? Firstly, I'm not unique. I want you to know that I'm not unique. I'm going to walk you through my journey now and my 5 steps to 250K. And then at the end, what I wish I'd done differently, what I did do right, and the number one thing that made a difference. So, am I Superwoman? I had to have this slide in. Actually, no. I don't wear leotards. I don't wear red knee-high boots. And I don't have long flowing blonde hair. So let's be really, really clear on that. I am not Superwoman. In fact, I didn't even plan to be a coach. As I shared earlier, coaching chose me, and the impact of the work just blew me away. And I said, how can I not do this? In the meantime, however, real life continued. So whilst I was creating my coaching business, real life was going on in the background. So I didn't have tons of spare time. I already had a full-time business as a photographer. I didn't have a husband to pay for my training. I didn't have family to loan me the money. And I didn't even find it an easy decision to invest in myself. And it sure wasn't the right time. At this time, I was going through a divorce. I was dealing with bereavement after my mum died suddenly, followed by my dad getting cancer 3 months after. Then my beloved dog Lolo passed away unexpectedly, followed by my long-standing furry feline companion Basil. Not surprisingly, I developed severe allergies from stress. Like, gratuitous picture of Lolo. This makes me so happy. That's Lolo in Ibiza at the mythical Es Vedra. You know, I always have to bring the dogs in, so there he is, just to lighten things up. Isn't he gorgeous? But that's not all. I still had my existing photography business and I was fully committed to my clients. So I actually only had part-time hours available. I had around 2 to 3 days a week to work on my new coaching business. So this is last year. So how did I do it? Well, the key things I did was that I invested in coaching myself and I acquired knowledge from someone who'd already created what I desired to create. I made a big commitment to my own mindset, my business and my personal development, and I was willing and open to change and to step outside my comfort zone. Because as long as you're in your comfort zone, nothing amazing happens. None of these like wow moments happen when you're in your comfort zone. So my five steps to 250K. So number 1 is to invest in learning and support. Number 2 is to create a beautiful big vision. Number 3 is to create a unique brand. And number 4 is to lay a solid foundation. And number 5 is personal growth. So there was so much I could share with you today. So it's been a challenge to try to think about which pieces, but I'm going to dive into these 5 key pieces because I believe these are what I need to share with you today. So the first one was I created a coaching business with private coaching support. So as I mentioned, I was in a group program, which was very powerful, and I invested in private coaching. So what's the difference? Well, I think the difference is that in private coaching, it's very tailored to you. So here we go. What I gained from investing in a private coach. So this was fast growth. This accelerated my progress because I was able to go at my own pace. You know, groups are awesome and you have to go at the pace of the group. What happens when you invest in private coaching is that you get to go at your own pace. I got the accountability to actually implement because every week there's someone checking what I've done that week, and that works wonders for me. And I think you need to know yourself here, how much accountability is important to you. And people vary. Some of you are going to be self-starters and you know you'll do it. And I'm getting better at that. But when I started, like, I needed a deadline. I needed to get things done, to prioritize the important things. I needed to know that there was a deadline. I got personalized attention for my blocks and situation. So what I would find is that, and this still happens now, is that I can hit something that's like a new level or a new area or a tech thing, and I can get stuck there and that can slow me down. And so what having a private coach meant was that we could zoom in, hone in straight on those blocks every week and stop them getting me right off track. So they became like a little speed bump in the road rather than like a dead end where I'd have to then reverse back, and then a few weeks would have gone by and then I'm back on the road. And what it was like was more like, oh, here's a speed bump, oh, get over it, okay, and keep moving forwards. Now, as I said earlier, the reason I was able to invest in private coaching as well as a group program was that I saw it as an investment and I expected to get a return. I was willing and open to change and take responsibility for my success. And I knew that if I wanted different results, I had to get support. So step number 2. So this is about creating a beautiful big vision. And I think this is one of the things that I've been really, really strong at, is that I really give myself permission to let my imagination soar. And those of you that are on the call today that are creatives, that are really, really awesome at this already. So I love working with my creative clients because they are brilliant at dreaming, imagining. I love seeing the vision boards. I actually have a self-study program at the moment, and people are posting their vision boards in there. You can see it on my website if you want to check it out. It's polyalexander.com. Look for the group program. And it's so awesome to see people really giving themselves permission to let their imagination soar. So know and believe that what you want also wants you. The thing I think that I was able to do that's really supported me is that I had no clue how these things were possible, and it would have been really easy to dismiss my dreams, like, you know, oh, I'd love to live in Ibiza one day. Oh, well, that's not possible for you. How could you do that? It would have been so easy to cut off my dreams, but I allowed what was in my heart to be in my dreams, and I allowed my dreams to come out into the open. I made my vision boards. I did my affirmations. I stayed focused on what was possible, and I didn't get caught up in how it would happen. So this is really powerful for you to become aware of where you're not honoring your truth, where you might be playing small and actually saying, no, you know, I'm fine with this business, it's making just enough, or it's okay, I'm doing okay. And become aware of where you're not really honoring all of the power, all of the desire inside you. And I'm going to also invite you to start to live your vision from where you're at. So in any small way that you can, start now. It's not all or nothing. My vision out here didn't start with a fully formed house and a life out here. It was about doing little by little. It was about experiencing the feelings I wanted to have from my dream life in the ways that were accessible to me at that time, and still staying focused on the end goal. So this is back into, and can't see this is very well, it's a little pixelated, but rewind 2012. So this is before it all started. This was my big vision. So I used to do these goal boards, and this is here, you've got a great year as a wedding photographer, 20 weddings at 5K, you've got all the different pieces that I wanted, a great yoga class in Ibiza. These were my dreams. And this was all of these things were like insanely exciting for me to create, and I didn't yet have them in my life. So these things were not in my life, okay? Let's be clear there at the time. And now I look back, and this is the awesome thing about doing this work, is that I've created almost all of them. So 90% of the things on this board, I actually did create. And actually some of them I no longer have in my life because they're no longer dreams. So the home art studio, I did actually build an art studio and painting studio in my garden at home. I did find a great yoga class. So all of these things, I look back now and they seem like, and at the time they seemed almost insurmountable. They seemed like, oh my gosh, how could I ever, like that would be insane. Like imagine doing that, imagine having that. And yet I was able to create it. And so I know time and time again what happens when you stay on this path and you consistently do this work, that you really can create your goals, and your goals will get bigger. Every single week when I'm working with my private clients, somebody says to me, oh, I need to redo my vision board. My goals have grown every single time. It's just amazing what happens when you get clarity on your vision and you go after it. So step number 3, this is one of my favorite areas to work with clients on. This is creating a unique brand. And creating a unique brand is all about you doing it your way. And you're going to be most successful when your business is the most you possible. So how do you make your business the most you possible? Well, it all really comes from you getting to know yourself and then building a brand around who you are. And this is what's so important. This is my unique brand. It's about an Ibiza sunshine lifestyle. It's authentic, it's glamorous, it's inspirational, it's luxury, it's colorful. Most importantly, it's based around what I love and what I've created in my life. And so if you're looking at this now and going, oh, well, Polly, that's okay for you because you have this really photogenic lifestyle, or you're there, so like that's a really cool brand, but I live in the north of England, or I live in cold Germany, and like my life doesn't look like that. Well, do not worry, because the most important thing is that you're authentic to you. And what's going to happen is that when you share more of you, it's going to attract your ideal clients, because you're going to be relatable and inspirational from where you're at. And whatever your life looks like right now, whatever you've achieved, it's inspirational to other people. And this is the part that people sometimes don't get, that by being you, you're going to connect with the people that you're here to serve. So the more you can share of you, whatever parts that is, the more you're going to attract your clients. So branding is about packaging this up into an identity, a visual identity, a brand voice. And it's the first point of contact your ideal clients have with you. So there'll be people who took a look at my page for this webinar and didn't relate, but didn't connect to it. The brand didn't speak to them, the language, the images, the message didn't speak to them. So they went elsewhere. And there'll be somebody else's message that speaks to them, that connects to them. And we each have a unique message. And so the more you can be, the easier it is to attract your ideal clients. Um, this is what will differentiate you from other coaches. So it's so, so important to create a unique brand. So how do you create a unique brand? Well, ask yourself, who am I really? Who am I really right now? And part of this is accepting that you're good enough right now, that you'll always be evolving, you'll always be growing, but where you're at right now is enough. This is about diving deep. It's about mining your gold. I love this idea. So it's not about trying to be something different or someone else or copy anybody or feel like you have to do things a certain way. It's about mining your experience, your natural abilities, skills and talents, your passions, the things that light you up, the little things you love, like English bulldogs are a part of my brand, right? That's me. I adore them. Your style, your tastes, your truth. And it's about looking at what you would do for free. So how can you be more you? Well, I think this is what I love about the coaching dialogue. The coaching dialogue can help you see yourself in a new light. Your coach has an objective perspective, and so they can support you in shining a light on the parts of you that you may not have fully owned, or the parts of you that you may have denied, the parts of you you're not seeing. It's about going deeper. It's about mining your gold in all of you and trusting it's enough. So step number 4, the structure. Starting a business requires really strong foundation. So whether you're starting a business from scratch and it's your first time into the world of running your own business, of being an entrepreneur, or whether you are transitioning from one business to another, starting a business requires strong foundations. And this is everything from contracts to how to set up the process with your clients, onboarding your clients, to setting your pricing, your packages, how to conduct a sales conversation, how to enroll clients, how to market your business, how to actually structure a coaching session. And of course, as I said, the holy grail, how to find clients. And so this is a big part of what I do with people who are new to starting a coaching business. We're setting up these really strong foundations so that a stable, powerful business can be built on them. You can't build a stable business, a powerful business, a sustainable business in the long run without these strong foundations. And it's all about keeping yourself in the game. As anybody who I don't know if any of you are on the webinar now who I've helped start a business from scratch, but you know what a huge journey it is. And it's all about keeping yourself in the game. And so this is why, 90% of new businesses fail in the first 3 years, because it's incredibly tough to keep yourself in the game when things are going wrong, when things aren't happening as fast as you want, the money's not coming in, the clients aren't coming in, things are not happening as quickly as you want, or things seem really difficult and it's one problem after another. So for those of you that are on my webinars, I had problems in my first 7 webinars, and this is all about keeping yourself in the game and knowing it's all possible, and that's what private coaching is so powerful for. So number 5, I think, is that I got supported. Now, I'm not just talking about coaching here. Okay, this isn't just a PR piece to tell you why you should get a private coach, but it's to tell you that I've got support to overcome personal hurdles. So I've worked with a variety of modalities over the last 20 years that have been of tremendous benefit in terms of improving my energy, because everything's energy. So I always put my energy first, improving my energy and overcoming all of these personal challenges that came in my way. One of the most important things I did is working on uncovering and overcoming my limiting beliefs, because these beliefs like, what if this happened? What if this doesn't work? What if something went wrong? What if I don't get any clients? Or who am I to do this? Who am I to tell other people what to do? Who am I to charge this much? Now, these blocks and old beliefs can totally take you out the game. So look at the difference. The old belief is I'm not good enough. And what happens when you believe you're not good enough? It puts you off getting out there. You end up in a trap of perfectionism, that nothing you do is ever good enough. It's ever perfect enough. You keep comparing yourself to others. You hold back launching your business, and you ultimately don't make money. But when you hold the belief, I am enough, I am good enough, you know that done is better than perfect, so you're able to get out in the world and share your services. You see the impact you can have exactly where you're at, and you accept where you're at right now, and you make money from the start. So some of the things I shifted in my own mindset was what was possible for me. My beliefs about what was possible in my field, my market, my niche, my territory, my beliefs around money, around my self-worth, my beliefs around time. That was a big one for me, one I'm really still shifting, and what I was capable of. So do you feel like this? Yay! It all sounds amazing, Polly. This is me. Then stay on because I'm going to tell you more. So what will happen if you don't grow your creative business? So let's look at what happens if you don't go to your next level, because I've seen this time and time again, and it really does happen. So first of all, it starts with boredom, and maybe you feel like you're uninspired, you're on a treadmill, then clients start to dry up, money slows down or even dries up. And then you find yourself blaming the economy. Maybe you find yourself saying there's just too much competition these days. You know, there's just not enough to go around. Oh, the wedding industry's changed. There's too much competition. There's too many people. Oh, the economy is tough. It's just not a good year for weddings. Or replace with your industry. Or people aren't willing to pay my rates like they used to. So if you find yourself telling yourself any of these things, it's time for a change. Ignore it and it just gets worse. Money crisis, financial stress, disillusionment with what you do. Maybe you find yourself triggered by others' success. You get envious or even jealous. Keep ignoring it and it gets worse. Depression, illness, and eventually you may end up quit running your own business. So are you being called to go to your next level? Yeah, this could be you. How would it feel for this to be you? Maybe not with such a crazy expression. That was the happiest picture I could find of me. So I do look a little crazed, but just gloss over that. How would you like this to be you in 6 months or a year's time? Celebrating your first 5K or even 10K month in your new coaching business. Or like my 6-month private program client Darcy, who's celebrated $21,000 in month 2 of her coaching business. So do you believe you create your own reality? Are you willing to invest in yourself in a big way? Is this something you really want, or is something that would be nice, but actually you'll find just ticking along? How willing are you really to explore the uncharted territory of personal development? How committed to your growth and dreams are you really? Are you ready? So if you're ready to explore if private coaching, if creating a coaching business with you, and if you would like to private coach with me, or you would like to talk more with me about if starting a coaching business is right for you, then I'm going to invite you to press the button on the bottom left of the screen under, let's have a look, where we go. And it should be under the chat box, I believe. Susie, maybe you can tell people where that button is, but there's a button to book a discovery call with me. So if you're already curious and you're like, right, I know I know that I've got to do this. I know that I've got to find out more. I'm going to invite you to book the discovery call. So Susie, if you could just organize that button to make sure everybody can see it, that would be awesome. So let me tell you more about what I'm looking for. I'm looking for women or men, and I've worked with both, who are hungry for success, who've got big dreams, who are self-aware, open-minded, coachable, and committed to their success. I'm grateful for my who are grateful for my support. I really put 110% into the clients I work with, and I really care about my clients' success. And in return, I require that I'm appreciated and valued by my clients. It's not for you if you don't believe it's possible for you. If you're not willing to master new systems and new ways of doing things, and you aren't willing to be really honest and coachable to overcome old ways of thinking, and if you don't like change, not for you. If you're not willing to invest in yourself and your new business, you don't believe it will work, and you're looking for someone else to do all the work for you. You don't believe in a higher power, God, the universe. You are not willing to work on yourself as well as your business. So if you're ready to make amazing money and have a big impact sharing your knowledge and skills, if you're ready to work your own hours from anywhere, at any time, If you're ready to play a bigger game and become all that you can be, you are in the right place. Welcome to my 6-month private coaching program. So this is the vehicle through which I support people that want to become coaches to create a new coaching business. I don't work with anybody who wants to start a new business on less than 6 months, because this is how long it takes to actually get all the structures set up and you're up and running in your new business. And this doesn't mean you have to wait till the end to make money. It all depends on your schedule, how much time you have available, what experience you're bringing to the plate, where you're at. But by working with me for 6 months, it gives you the opportunity to get really to a place where you've got really solid foundations, where you're really set up and you're confident, so that your business is guaranteed to be a success. You can definitely Google stuff, you can do shorter courses, and at the same time, I am committed to you creating a sustainable, brilliant business that's really going to take off, which is why I work with clients in the 6-month containers. So if you're ready to be powerfully coached through the fears that will come up by a certified advanced master coach, if you're ready to be guided by a visionary creative who'll create with you, imagine how it would feel to reach 100K or even 250K in 18 months. Imagine what your life would look like. Travel to dream destinations. Would it be more time with your family, to be with your children? Would it be a bigger, better house for happy times with those you love? Imagine how it would feel to have freedom, to have happiness, to have more joy, to have this sense of contribution and making a difference in the world, and to feel confident in your skills and abilities and your business. So is this your time? So if this feels like it could be your time, I'm going to invite you to book a discovery call now. I actually only have 2 spaces available to start now. I take on a very limited number of private clients. Obviously, for logistical reasons, I can only support a small number of private clients. And I have 2 people finishing right now. And so I have 2 spaces that have become available. This is really high-level one-on-one support with an experienced and certified master coach. This is Adrian, who actually just had his last session. One of his spaces has become available right now. And he says, Polly has been my business coach for the past 9 months, and taking her on has been one of the best business decisions I've ever made in 14 years of working for myself. Together, we've collapsed the timeline, we've started a new business, transformed my mindsets, nailed my social media profile, set up new business systems, rebranded, raised my rates, refocused my offerings, taken on new staff, and transformed my own personal profile, all in 9 months. Polly has been instrumental in helping me transform my life from being completely burnt out a year ago to now being completely re-energized, refreshed, and so excited for the year ahead. So huge congratulations, Adrian. I don't know if you're on today or if you watch the replay, but massive, massive success there for you, and so excited for everything that lies ahead. So if this is your next level, are you ready to be the leader in the lives of others? I'm going to jump back onto the video chat in a moment to take any questions. I'm just going to give you the bonus content I promised. That's things I would do differently. So 5 things I would do differently, okay? So this is from the heart. These are the things I'm called to share with you today. The first one is that I wouldn't try and do so many things at once. That's definitely something which I feel I could have grown faster and more easily had I not tried to do too many things at once. So if you're multi-passionate, you'll know where I'm coming from there. Second is I would have grown my list faster, so my email list faster. That's something that I would do differently. The third is that I'd make decisions quicker. I've wasted so much time in indecision, or even in things about like the technology for doing a webinar, spending too much time making the decision and not enough time moving forwards. So that's something which I've got much better at, and I'm still committed to getting even better at. And I believe it's one of the characteristics that the people who have the fastest growth also have the ability to make very fast decisions, and I've seen that in people around me. Number 4 is I'd have more fun. I love fun. As you probably know, I love having fun, but I would have even more fun. There's been times when I worked really hard and probably over hustled, and so I would have more fun along the way. And number 5 is that I wouldn't overspend. Definitely the financial awareness, the wealth consciousness, which is such a big part of what I do with my work with clients. That's a piece which caused me unnecessary stress, not being fully aware and conscious and mindful of my finances. So there you go. Those are 5 things I would do differently. So 5 things that contributed to my success. So the first thing is that I focus on my energy as a priority. I focus on my well-being, because I know that when my energy is off, I'm not in an attraction state. And when we want to attract money and clients, we need to be in that attraction state. So as soon as I find myself going off track, I take action to bring myself back. And that could be through physical work, body work, it could be through mindset work, it could be through meditation. I'm going to reel off some of the things that I do. So things like physically working out, walks in the countryside, Epsom salt baths, homeopathy, vitamins, sleep, that's a huge one, rest, so simple, but sleep, reading, and then things like mentally, yeah, reading is huge. So reading self-development books, reading wealth consciousness books. And then spiritually, really staying connected to the bigger picture and my growth and my life's challenges, my soul's journey. So really focusing on all of these pieces that impacts on my energy so that I can move forwards powerfully. And I believe that my focus on these areas was one of the reasons I had such big success this year. The second is that I really care about my clients and that I'm really committed to my clients. Not in a people pleasing, I have to have all the answers kind of way, but in taking a stand for their brilliance and really supporting them to move past what's holding them back and supporting them with powerfully moving forwards. The third is that I keep my focus on my business, not on what others are doing. I think this is really, really important, because so many people look at what other people are doing and compare themselves, get into that spin of I'm not as good as them, I'm not as pretty, I'm not as smart, my work's not as good, I'm not as good at marketing. And one thing which I've done this year is to keep the focus solely on my business, not on what others are doing. Other people are rocking out and doing amazing things, and that's their business. And I keep the focus on my business. So be it on social media, be it on Facebook, be it on mailing lists, looking at other people's websites. At the beginning of starting a business, it can be helpful to spend 1 week looking, or 1 hour looking at what other people are doing to be of inspiration. But then I keep the focus back on me, because I know that's where my power is. So number 4 is I make investing in my self-development a priority. I think you've got this now. So self-development for me, coaching has been a huge part of that, but I also have other modalities I work with, from energy healing to what else do I do? Homeopathy, that's been really powerful, hypnotherapy, all sorts of modalities, but and then other short courses as well. So I make investing in my own self-development an absolute priority, because I know that when I grow, then my business grows. And I gave myself permission to dream. As I shared with you, I got into a playful space where I gave myself permission to dream, and I didn't worry about how it was going to happen or how it could possibly happen for me. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I'm going to save the last tip till the end. I'm going to come back on and say hello to you. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Hi, Martina from Germany. Great to have you here. So if you have any questions for me that you would like to ask me about starting my coaching business or about my journey, then I'm going to invite you to type them into the chat box. So just go to the chat box if you haven't been on there yet and just type in, and I'd be happy to take questions. I'm going to be wrapping up shortly, and so if you're interested in booking a discovery call, I would love to invite you to book a time with me this week. As I said, I've only got 2 places at this time. My private coaching is basically fully booked most of the time, and I've had 2 spaces become available. So I would love to connect with you if you feel like one of those could be yours. So I'm going to come on over and see if we have some questions. Any questions, people? I know I talk a lot, but I think, hi, Faye, welcome. Faye is on here. Faye is one of my private coaching clients who I'm supporting starting a coaching business. She's going to totally rock it out. Really happy to have you here. Okay, awesome, awesome. So Ela, I would love to ask about what your advice is on effective journaling. Cool, that's a great question. So there's a few different ways to journal, and the way I started out journaling originally was with Julia Cameron's method. So if you haven't heard of Julia Cameron, she has a book called The Artist's Way, which is incredible. It's a guide to reclaiming your creativity, and it's a really, really amazing self-study course you can do in your book. So I really recommend that. I saw Julia Cameron speak about 15 years ago, and I was so inspired that I started her practice of morning pages. So every morning you can sit with an A4 notebook or paper, and you just literally do stream of consciousness writing. So you just write out anything that comes into your head. So it could be like, why am I doing this? What's the point in this? Whatever comes on. Whatever comes up for you. So that's one way to journal, and what you'll find is that clears your head of all the rubbish that our heads are filled with, and helps you get closer to your truth, to the powerful actions you can take, until the insights and inspired ideas, because they're all there. It's just that there's so much clutter that we can't get to them. So the morning pages helps clear that out the way, and then you'll naturally find that by the second or third page you start kind of asking yourself questions or getting insights or awarenesses. So that's one way. Another way that I like to journal is to write. If I'm looking for an answer for something, I like to write down the question. So for example, let's say I wanted to, let's take an easy one. So how do I get my next client? So write down, how do I get my next client? And then I would sit and I would wait and just see what ideas and thoughts come into my head. So this is what I like to see as a space for opening up divine guidance, for waiting to receive ideas and thoughts, and they will come. Don't worry if they don't come immediately, but then I might get ideas. I might be like, oh, you got to post on Facebook, or reach out to this person, or do this. And so it's creating the space to receive those ideas. So those are the two of the ways effective journaling. But there isn't really a wrong way to journal, because journaling is just about dumping out stuff, clearing your brain. Wow, it's getting really sunny. I've got all the curtains drawn because I can't see in here. It's so bright during the day, but the curtains are drawn and it's still super bright. So yeah, there's not really a wrong way. That's what I would say. I don't go back and read my journal unless I need to see some notes about some action points. I'd be horrified if I went back and reread my journals. It's just the process. It's the process of letting out and receiving divine guidance. So I hope that was helpful for you. Karen, you are welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed the webinar. Karen asks, did you take on assistants as your business grew bigger? How do you manage the expansion of your business, or is it still just you? Yeah, really great question. I haven't touched on this so much today, but one of the most powerful things I actually did in starting my coaching business was that I didn't try and do everything. So I already had a business. So I've had a PA for a long time, a personal PA. So that's one thing to know. I started out with like 1 hour a week, then it was 3 hours, and so on. So I have somebody in London that does all of my shipping, that she helps with my admin, and I also have a VA. So in the very beginning of my coaching business, I had no clue how to use MailChimp or do newsletters, but I didn't spend any time working out how to do it. And this is up to you, whether you want to or not. It's always great to have a level of knowledge before you outsource something, but it's also not necessary. So what I did was straight away find someone that could do the things that I didn't have time to learn. So that was really, really powerful. So I am constantly outsourcing, Karen. I won't be wrapping my own Christmas presents. I'll admit it. I have someone that does my wrapping. So sometimes it's about taking on personal assistance, because a lot of the time I found in my life when I was trying to pull in more time for new businesses was actually been taken up with personal stuff. So maybe grocery shopping, wrapping personal gifts, clothes repairs, all sorts of like little personal things that are just a little bit of time here and there. But that was how I managed to pull back quite a lot of time into my life. And really, honestly, having a personal PA rocks. I also, like, if ever I need keys cutting, shoe repairs, doing dry cleaning, somebody else takes that. And this isn't a huge expense. So you're talking somebody on a reasonable hourly rate for a few hours a week, and it's a game changer. Last week I was really, really busy in my business, so I didn't cook my food. I got my housekeeper to actually spend 3 hours making food for the week. It's amazing. I had my energy balls, my cookies, my food, and it cost me like 30 euros. So I think this is one of the preconceptions, that these things can be really expensive, or like you have to take on this full-time member of staff, and you don't. You can build your team in little ways. So I've talked about the personal PA. And you love my attitude. Thank you, Karen. In terms of the VA, finding someone who, and by VA, it's like a PA in your business, but they're virtual. So you can work with someone all over the world. So finding someone that has skills that you don't have, in certain programs or certain softwares, is really, really important. I could absolutely not do what I do without my team. There's no way I could have made this. But at the same time, I don't have full-time staff. So that's just what works for me, because I travel a lot, I split my time. And so working with people virtually is what works for me. When I'm in London, I do see my PA in person. I try to have a catch up every few months with her. How do I manage the expansion? I get every level, I get better at my time. I get better at managing my time. And I have actually changed my schedule. So about every 6 months, I've reorganized how I take clients. And so now is that I have Mondays, has specific tasks and focus. I don't have private clients on Mondays or Fridays. I actually coach my private clients Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the afternoons, with a couple of people on Wednesday morning. So I've really batched my work into certain structures. So I've got time every week to do what I need to. And Fridays is for brainstorming new projects, new ideas. It doesn't always pan out like that, but I'm still a work in progress. So that's where I'm going to. Let me just tune in and see if there's anything else I need to share around expansion. Yeah, I think for where I'm at this stage now, it's now because I'm almost pretty much full with one-on-one coaching all the time. I am actually looking at how I can leverage my time by working with groups, which I did this year, and creating passive income products. And then as my coaching business progresses, it's about automating things. I think there's so much that you can outsource in a business. So it's really about getting as much support as you can. And it doesn't have to be, it can be something you can't do, but it doesn't need to be that. It can actually be something you don't like doing. So for example, I really don't like doing raw production on my photography things, and I can do it and I'm good at it. And so every so often I slip back and I do it and I'm like, what are you doing? It's driving you crazy. You wasted 6 hours. So I have to keep reminding myself that just because I can do it doesn't mean I should be doing it, and be focused on my bigger goals. So I hope that's been helpful for you. Other questions before I jump on and bring this to a close? Okay, Lucia, how did you structure your work when you were doing part-time photography and coaching? I have a job, 3 small kids in my business. I'm really worried about adding coaching because of the time investment. Yeah, really great question, Lucia. I hear you. Time is one of the biggest objections. So the way that it was a little organic. It was a little organic at that point. I basically, my work was seasonal. So the photography was mainly in the summer. So I knew that I could do more coaching in the winter. So that was part of it. I was able to structure it in that way. I would just plan my time out. This is the biggest thing at the beginning of the week. I would block my time out into specific sections and not deviate from that. Not going on email. I haven't been into my email this morning. I will not go in until the end of the day, because that just eats your time. If you want to, there's no rules about how you do it, but I definitely not checking email more than twice a day, once if you can, and then answering your emails in one go. Batching things. So I'll be planning my Instagram for the week, doing all my posts, all my captions, and having that set up. And then having days for specific things. So I blocked out the photography time and I blocked out the coaching time. And in the beginning, in the crossover, yeah, I did hustle. It was a new business. And yes, I worked some weekends. I don't now. In the beginning, I did. During the launch, I worked a couple of weekends. I think when you've got 3 small kids, it's all about support. I know a coach who's got 6 kids and she's rocking out her business. it's totally possible. Obviously, I can't model that for you. I only have the furry kind of children at the moment, but it's all about support. And so you can definitely do both, but you'll want to get really, really well supported. So with the childcare, making sure whether it's family, whether it's an au pair, nanny, whatever it is, that it's really well supported. And then when you're with your children, being really, really present. So it's better to have like 1 hour of full-on quality time with your children each day than 3 hours where you're kind of juggling, you're trying to answer your phone and Instagram and check your email. So just being really dividing all your priorities in your schedule. Scheduling is massive. So you make sure your kids have their time in your schedule and nothing gets in the way of that. Your photography has its time. Your email has its time. Just getting really, really strict about this. Whenever I have days that I'm like, ew, I didn't get everything done, I notice I've gone off track from my schedule. I've maybe like lacked the self-discipline to do that. So really scheduling is the thing. And when you come to look at your week ahead and you're like, okay, here's all the things I need to do and there's not enough time, then that's when you need to bring in someone else for support. So with your photography, be making sure you're outsourcing as much of that process as possible. So if your most important part is to be in the sales call with the clients, and to be actually shooting, then everything else should be delegated. Everything from doing the production on the images, even editing. And I know this might seem like insane, but I've worked with people who've managed to move past that mindset and work with somebody else on editing and get amazing results. Through to delivery of the final product, the couriering, the going to the post office, the emailing, the Dropbox link, whatever it is. I still shoot, like I shared with you at the beginning. I just did a really big job for Martha Stewart, and it's definitely possible to do multiple ventures. You just have to be really strict with your time and really, really well supported. So I hope that's helpful for you. You will get really, really good at scheduling when you introduce this third arm. And I always say children are like businesses. So you have your family as one business, and then you have your coaching as another business, and maybe you have a third business as well, like you do as the photography. So it's about making time for all of these businesses and then being really, really present. So when you're in that one thing, you're just present in that. And I think this is one of the things which meditation and journaling has really helped me with, is just being really present and trusting. Also this trust, this belief in a higher power that I'm doing my best and that it's good enough and that I'm supported. We can manifest clients from anywhere at any point, and that's certainly happened for me. I don't know if Catherine's on today, but she literally came to me out of the ether a couple of weeks ago. We found each other through a random comment on Instagram, and I was exactly what she's looking for. And so I believe that when we're in tune with that energy and when we're on the right path, that synchronicities and opportunities will open up, so that it doesn't have to be hard. It's not all about the amount of time you put in or the struggle or the hustle. There is that, not the struggle, there is the hustle when required, but it's also about getting in tune with your energy and getting in the flow, which you can do through journaling, meditation, through being attuned to your needs, so that things flow more easily and it doesn't feel like a struggle. I could talk about this for ages. I could do this a webinar on this. You've given me an idea. Before I close off, I'm just going to jump on. If you've got any more questions, pop them into the chat box now. I am going to jump to the PDF for the final thing I shared. I want to share the number one thing I think that made a difference. Okay, so that's not on the PDF. So the number one thing that made a difference, I think, for me was that it was being curious. So we're all going to hit problems, and maybe where you're at right now is that you feel like, oh yes, I do that, but, or yes, I do that, but, or that would cost me, but I don't have the money, or but I don't have the time, but it's not the right time. And for me, every time I hit a problem, instead of saying, oh, I can't do it, which is our default response, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, it's not possible for me, was to ask how. So it's to be really curious. And it's like, okay, so here's my week and all these things need to happen. So how can it happen? Instead of automatically saying it can't. And I think that's the difference in mindset between people, is that that are not really rocking out their business and not making the money they desire. They get stuck and they say I can't. Whereas when you actually are curious and you're like, what if I asked, how can I? So, you know, how can I feel more confident? Or how can I get more people to know about my services? How can I attract an ideal client? When you start to get in that space of how can I, and be really curious and interested, like it's like a problem to solve, like, how can I do that? Then that means that you're propelled forwards on your path of self-development and business development, and things flow a lot easier. So I would say that's the number one thing that I did that was most powerful. So if you go to the offers at the end of the chat, I can't see on my screen, but there is a button to book a discovery call. So if you're ready to schedule your call with me, I'm going to invite you to click that button. You'll be taken to my calendar. I've got really limited space available because I'm actually on another training course this week. I'm doing energy healing training to support my clients to be able to remove their unconscious blocks to success. So that's super exciting. I'm excited to bring that modality into my work shortly as well. So there'll be more on that. But I would love to connect with you. If this has been inspiring for you today, if this feels like it connects with a part of you and this is your next level, then I am here for you. So thank you so much for everyone. Thank you for being here with me today. It was great to have you here. I hope it was helpful for you. Thank you to everybody from all around the world that joined me. And to those of you that are listening to the replay, it's been awesome having you, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Lots of love. Bye.